What's up, everyone? Thank you guys for tuning in.
My name is Burrito. Hi, I'm Julia.
My name is Jagger.
My name is Seth.
Right now, what you're about to see is an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at our album, Taking Back What's Mine. You're going to be hearing commentary from myself, all the other members, of all the songs that you guys just heard in our album, and we get to, in detail, describe what the songs mean to us in hopes that maybe it might mean the same thing that it means to you guys. So enjoy. Without further ado, thank you for joining us for Taking Back the Curse. When we wrote Better Than Ever, it was initially a song of triumph during a time when you don't necessarily see a way out.
Like a triumph song. Overcoming everything that's been thrown at you, negative or positive, and being better yourself in every way possible.
After you've been in this situation, whatever you want to call it, and you've overcome it, that you have literally come out better than ever. The revenge song, I guess. Stevie was in his revenge era.
Better Than Ever is a comeback song.
Overcoming something that is putting you down, and you get better from it.
It has that kind of chord progression and driving guitar feel that you would hear from a Cold song or a Seether song. But it has a flair to it that also kind of sounds like it can come from Guns N' Roses or a Jack White song. And it's a very good hybrid of hard rock and alternative.
By accepting to be in these areas that we're in, we find hidden powers within ourselves that help us progress through things we've never really encountered before.
You don't know you'll be better until after. And it's like, you tried to throw me away, you tried to bend me and break me, but now I'm better than ever. A lot of people can have someone in their mind when they're listening to this, whether it's a boss, an ex, ex-coworker.
A breakup, maybe a bad job experience or anything.
I think Better Than Ever is one of those songs that enforces people and reminds them that no matter what situation you're in, light or dark, you can utilize these hidden talents that you have to get you out and to renew yourself as something different.
Exactly what it says. That really is the song though. It's Out of Control.
Out of Control was one of the first ones I've heard, and I heard it. I wasn't in the band yet, but I heard it at Ralston's Goat at an open mic night when it was still called Ralston's Goat.
Out of Control was actually the first song that was written. It was written with me and Jagger. I showed him a concept one day. It was the first original that we have ever made, and it was made at the back parking lot of Queen Bean Coffee House.
Not really sure how to explain it. We never put that much thought into it because it was one of the first songs. It was just like, holy shit, we have a song.
Out of Control is the first song that I learned and the first song that I played with the band. I really liked it a lot.
So Out of Control was the first official Aware song I heard.
It was kind of funny. We played an acoustic show at the Prospect Theater, and I only knew that song, so I went up and I played that song. We did a sound check a few hours before, and that was the first time I ever played with the band.
When I joined the band, I was presented Out of Control, Simple, and Used to Getting By. Those are the first three I heard. It was already written and it was already finished. It was recorded at a place called Crowkeeper Studios in Sacramento. And Stevie sent me the email with the song, and when I was listening to it, just the first da-da, da-da, like captivates you. It almost like turns everything, like your outside world off, and you just go shoo, da, and you're like, whoa, okay. And it's a very suspenseful build up that almost could be in a 2000s rock song or a square dancing song. It's a very like almost country kind of build up.
Jagger kind of started building off of it, of making it more like grungy, more punchy. We thought of the alternating guitar routes, and we both kind of were playing two separate things on guitar, and we both realized like, hey, that actually works. We can do that. We can do our verses. We can do the hooks. We can do all of that. So it was a very, very kind of cool experience. It just kind of happened, and we weren't really expecting the song to happen. And once we played it once and played it all the way through, I think there's a video of that moment when me and Jagger were playing it. But when we realized that what we had, once we finished singing the song, we just kind of looked at each other and we smiled, and then I went to go turn off the camera.
I love Taco Truck Burrito. Taco Truck Burrito is a really fun, catchy song.
Also, exactly what it is, because when we wrote that song, there was a big misconception that it was about a female. It was not.
I think that it has a lot of different meanings. It could be about a person. I think that I hit the jackpot, meaning like, I think I found the best person ever. Or it could literally be about a food item that you really, really enjoy. I think that that's really cool because the lyrics are super ambiguous, and you can relate to it in your own way. I loved working on the music video and the single artwork for that. Something that I haven't done before, and it's the first time I've done something like this for the band. So I went all in with Seth, and we just had the idea of being silly goofy.
Yes, for anybody asking, the song is about a taco truck burrito. It was written at a taco truck not too far from here. I remember we had played a show at, I think it was Nino's. Shout out to Nino's. But those shows are like 4-hour long shows. So at the end of it, once we've done the whole thing, we go back home hungry. And at that time, we kind of get off like around like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. So the only thing really accessible is Taco Bell, Jack in the Box. If you're lucky to find a taco truck, you find a taco truck. So I wanted to just choose how I got my runs, and I chose the taco truck. And it ended up being the only taco truck that I could find in the stretch of El Modesto.
Pretty much Stevie wrote it when he was starving, and he found the taco truck by the DMV.
I remember just being so exhausted, so tired, so hungry, and the minute I bit into it, I was feeling like lit up. And then I kind of got into like the little food happy dance, and I heard the melody in my head, so I pulled out my phone and I started recording the melody. Then I started singing some lyrics that made sense in I'd say 10 minutes.
I had just gotten done with a job helping lay solar panels, and we had practice later that day. And I just remember being exhausted coming to Stevie's garage, which is our old practice space. We were practicing Avenged Sevenfold covers, but then Stevie goes, "Hey guys, I have an original." We're like, "Oh, cool."
At first, it sounded like a Sum 41 beach summer song.
When we heard the song, we were like, "This is a really cool, like, poppy radio song."
And then when we kind of all put it together, we all stopped and we're like, "Oh, this is sick."
What we asked next was, "What's the name of it?"
You ready?
Taco Truck Burrito.
Taco Truck Burrito.
And initially I was like, I didn't know if it was satire or not.
Their faces changed because they were like, wait, what?
It grew on me really quick. My prediction before the EP came out was I felt like Taco Truck was gonna have the most clicks solely because people were gonna see the names of the EP songs. Better Than Ever, Out of Control, Used to Getting By, Taco Truck Burrito, and they were gonna go, what the hell? But it's became a crowd favorite, and it's made a lot of people ask, like, what is it about? A lot of people have been like, oh, this is a really nice love song, or like, is this about somebody? It's about, but then you realize, like, you know, it goes back to the point of people adding their own experience to it.
You Let Me Down is my favorite on the EP. It's kind of like our little ballad.
You Let Me Down, it was the very first song that Stevie and Brielle both worked on. It was our first official dual lead singer aware song.
Well, Stevie came to me with the idea of You Let Me Down, and I believe he had a chorus, and we wrote the first and second verses together. That one was really fun because that was the first time that Stevie and I collaborated on a song together.
You Let Me Down came in at a difficult time. You Let Me Down is the culmination of coming out of a realization that you let someone in and gave yourself to someone who didn't deserve it?
You Let Me Down to me was just a song that really explained what a lot of our band members have been through. They've trusted so many people, and ultimately they did let them down. No matter how it was, in any way, they were let down in some way by somebody they cared about.
The lyrics to me mean when you really put all of your faith in someone and they just turn around and, I guess, stab you in the back in a way. And it doesn't matter how hard you're trying to make things work and what you're trying to prove to someone, they could still let you down.
It sounded like the chaotic energy that Aware had, but it sounded very slow and ballady. It was just fresh. And then I immediately came up with the lower harmony, and that's what spawned the 3-part harmony that is, one, very fulfilling to sing live, but 2, it sounds really cool.
I remember writing the whole thing acoustically. The original recording blew us away because it was a tester to see if we could. And Brielle had a difficult time getting the melodies down at first because I had done a raw recording and it was still fresh. So Brielle had the idea, just mute my vocals and just do the take. And the ending of that whole take blew us away. And I remember all of us was getting to a part where we're supposed to harmonize and do like the big final note. And like, wow, this is incredible. Like, this is something. We all kind of agreed at that moment that this was going to be our slow one. This was going to be that string puller. The heartstring puller. The whole premise of You Let Me Down is coming to terms and getting closure within yourself that your actions have led you to be hurt. Somehow, some way in your quest to be okay again, you got hurt again. This song isn't supposed to be about necessarily hiding that feeling or running away from that feeling, but addressing it and seeing it.
Before I joined the band, actually, I discovered who the band was at a place that was formerly known as Ralston's Goat. It is now known as Slides. But Ralston's Goat used to host open mics every Wednesday, and I was asked to drum for an old band at the time. And within the weeks of me going, I saw this 3-piece group called the band Aware, who I heard about, and I saw videos on Instagram and such. I had no thoughts after that of I would end up here, being the lead guitarist. With Simple, they sung this song. I'm like, that's some really catchy chorus.
I don't know, we wrote it in a fucking parking lot.
Simple was our flagship song. It was the first recorded song that flagship Brielle's vocals, which ultimately led to Brielle joining the band. Brielle still in a band called Sundust at that time, and it was originally featuring Brielle.
I had no intention of even being in the band or being on Simple, featured on Simple. I was kind of just thrown into it, which is all good.
Well, we wanted to try and see how it sounded, and we were like, this sounds really good. Time went on. She had asked us, hey, do you think we can just take off the featured since I'm in the band? I'm like, yeah, we can, totally.
We re-released it as just the band Aware because we're all in it now. Once Julia joined the band, we started getting to work, started getting all these songs situated. I think Julia had not been in the band more than 4 or 5 days until we asked her to record this with us.
Well, my first day in Aware, we met at the studio, and I had no context besides that, and we were recording Simple.
There's a lot of last minute ideas that we added there, like the piano at the end was completely last minute. I remember just messing around with the piano, and once the song was done playing, I could hear it in the other room. I don't know who it was. Somebody peeked their head out because they heard me playing that, and then once I finished, they saw me running through the room saying, Jordan, I need you to hit record and make me a fresh track and mic up this piano, please. Shout out to Jordan with Timeless Ranch Studios. Jordan's mastermind helped us really solidify how we wanted this to sound, and he really pointed us in a good direction.
As far as lyrics go, when you're going through a really hard situation or a toxic situation, you think leaving isn't gonna benefit you. You think it's gonna do more harm than good.
Detaching yourself from something, as hard as it is in the moment, it can be kind of liberating.
Sometimes when you're out of the fog, you're able to realize, like, I did not realize how easy this was. Like, I never knew it'd be so simple.
A lot of people, when they're going through something, kind of have like a boiling point. There's a point that we all reach to when we're like, you know what, F it. I'm not gonna do this anymore. I've had it. I'm not gonna handle it. I'm not going to live my life like this. I'm gonna cut you out and I'm gonna do it my way. And then when you do it, it's that little redemptive laugh that you get at the end. Like the last laugh where you're like, that was way easier than I thought.
Stevie is really good with arranging his lyrics. It's a really easy to remember chorus, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to the lyrics.
Sometimes life is like that. Sometimes there's people in situations in our lives where we just gotta be like that, and we don't. But when you do, you have that little last laugh moment saying like, I won. Like, I know I won. And Simple is definitely that song that we did it. Like the middle finger to your enemy or the middle finger to the hater. That's that song.
Yeah, that's what Simple means.
Used to Getting By was a song that I wrote, I think, 3 years ago. It was originally called Used to Getting High.
Used to Getting By, like a story of basically you are only used to getting by doing the bare minimum. There's a point where you gotta become unfamiliar with that.
Then I presented it to the band, and I believe it was Seth that brought up the concept of saying I'm used to getting by on my own. And I liked that concept because I think it had a lot more meaning.
It's hard because a lot of songs are up for interpretation to their own people.
I think now the way it's played, it's recepted in a way of like an anthem to the underdog. And I was never expecting it to turn out to something like that. I wanted it to be a sort of a happy tragedy.
I am kind of in a weird position because a lot of the songs were already written before I came into the picture. So navigating my way into these songs was kind of difficult, but I have a choir background, which was extremely helpful. I love harmonizing. Sometimes I enjoy harmonizing more than I enjoy singing up front. A song would sound really dull without harmony. Placing it in those spots, in the correct spots, is really important because you don't want to overdo harmony and you don't want to not make it prevalent. Used to Getting By is our closer song. It is, the big triumphant ending to our set. It's our heaviest song, and it really makes a statement about being so content, just doing your own thing. And I felt like that was how I felt before I joined the band. It was just kind of just stagnant, just doing the same thing, but joining the band really just lifted me up.
So Used to Getting By, that song came about because Used to Getting By was, I misquoted earlier and said Out of Control was the first official Aware song I heard. It was actually Used to Getting By. It was when I was in my other band at the time. I was scrolling the page of Aware with a rose blossoming.
I'm used to getting by on my own. Don't ask me about why, 'cause I don't know. I'm a danger to myself, so I've been told.
That gave a pretty good idea of what the band sounded like. At this time, it was this band called Aware. I've never really played a riff, like alternative rock like that. I was aware of no pun intended. I was aware of that tight guitar rhythm style, but I never applied it to myself until I started hearing the song and realizing I gotta clean this up. The song really made you play better.
When we played Woofstock, Stevie mentioned something about the animals at Woofstock, so the dogs and all the animals that were up for adoption, how they're used to getting by kind of on their own. And I really related to that, which I thought was kind of cool.
I feel like everybody can relate to feeling alone at one point or another. You're like, I'm used to getting by on my own. Sometimes when you're asked, like, why are you so okay with being alone? You're just like, it's just been like that.
It's hard because a lot of songs are up for interpretation to their own people.
It became a pretty big crowd favorite for the EP at least, but also hearing it at shows. I love playing the intro where I put my wah on the lowest frequency and then I play the intro and I just slowly sweep up. It sounds so cool. It's like a spaceship starting up or getting ready for a race. Jagger hits that double bass and it goes and it just sounds really cool. So yeah, used to getting by.
I'd have to say You Let Me Down, because at the time that song was coming out, or becoming a thing, I was in a really rough patch. I didn't know what was for certain and what wasn't. So that's the one I connected with the most.
You Let Me Down is my favorite on the EP. To me, personally, it's the most emotionally driven song. It's kind of like our little ballad, kind of just stitched in with all the other songs. It's very powerful and the harmonies are amazing.
Used to Getting By was originally called Used to Getting High. At first, I remember having smoking buddies. These smoking buddies smoking themselves out of my life, per se. I can get high on my own and still make things happen. Then I presented it to the band, and I believe it was Seth that brought up the concept of saying I'm used to getting by on my own. And I liked that concept because I think it had a lot more meaning of, yeah, I'm used to getting by. Like, I'm used to living life and doing things on my own. I'm used to doing this.
I am most proud of Used to Getting By. I felt like out of all the songs, Used to Getting By had the most potential to be like a big rock song. And I really wanted to try to capture that in the studio, and I think we did a pretty good job.
I am most proud of Better Than Ever because I look at all my solos like planted seeds that just grow, or planted flowers that just grow over time. And the Better Than Ever solo in specific was written back in 2021 for a song that was also in B minor in the same key that Better Than Ever was written when it was presented. And at that time, the old solo wasn't used. And so when Better Than Ever was presented to me, I was like, I can use the solo again. And so I kind of rewrote it, smoothed it out, made it kind of cleaner, and it wasn't like as sporadic. But it grew into this thing that I've noticed people, especially the bandmates, when it's in the studio, they mimic the solo or like they sing it back to me, and like that's my goal when I write these solos, because I'm very big on like Ace Frehley or like George Harrison solos. Like there are solos you can hum, and the solos that you can hum are the ones that you remember, because people remember melody over lyrics. So yeah, Better Than Ever is the one I'm most proud of.
So my songwriting style has been creating an entity within my head that embodies these emotions and these feelings, and then what I feel, I do my best to hear what I'm feeling. I try to match a riff inside with an emotion that matches what I'm writing.
The bass lines, I mean, Stevie kind of just told me what the notes are, and everything else just came from my heart. Honestly, I've never played original music. It's always been covers and covers and covers, and doing that for 7 years, to continuing to grow as a person, musician, especially as a bass player, just allowed me to just naturally just come up with things that made sense.
I'm very inspired by Van Halen, but not even just Van Halen, AC/DC, Beatles, Rolling Stones. A lot of the early bands I was exposed to growing up had really good guitar work, starting with the Stones and the Beatles. I love the dual guitar philosophy, I guess you could say. And with Stevie and I, with the way he plays rhythm and the way I play lead, especially when I joined the band, I realized like we have something going here. Like this is a really cool like sound that we can build. And I'm very humbled that we've been referred to have a 3D guitar sound almost, because I've been very conscious and had us try to practice like, hey, let's see what this tone sounds like with this tone.
You'll tell, like with Used to Getting By, I think I recorded it on the Marshall stack that was inside of Timeless Ranch, and it was recorded on my Telecaster Deluxe. I have Duncan Design P90s on that, and I really liked the sound that gave me a very boxy, crunchy, almost video game-like sound. Jordan's Mind, and with the Kramer that Seth was playing in the studio, it was like, here was my sound, and then the after mastering and Seth's guitar kind of just hugged it, and it created like a beam of sound, and you get that raw crunchiness that you hear or would hear in like 2000.
You'll see, like, when we both blend the volume at the same time, we have that big wall of just guitar coming at you. His distortion and mine are similar but different. You know whose is who. The guitar work on this EP is a combination of, one hand is me, one hand is Stevie. You got Avenged Sevenfold, 3 Days of Grace, Seether, mixed in with Carlos Santana, and much more. You got me with Van Halen, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, and mixed in with Jimi Hendrix. You combine that, and that's what makes like the riffs. And I am hoping that in further projects we can have more harmonies. I love harmony guitar solos like the Allman Brothers, the Thin Lizzy, even Kiss, like the Paul Stanley and Ace Frehley, like in Detroit Rock City, how they had that harmony in the middle. Like Brielle said, it's a totally different vibe to a song, and it's very dull without it.
For all you like 3 Days Grace fans out there, Barry Stock and Adam use a lot of PRS and a lot of Jackson guitars. I'm hoping to show people that you can get the $1,000, the $3,000 sound by just a Squier. And my Squier Telecaster Deluxe is probably one of the most wild card, deadly objects I got in my arsenal next to my Stratocaster, which, thanks to Jay Boog for helping me out and Seth for hooking me up with some pickup. I'm really learning that if you're gonna portray an emotion, do your best to match the sound that the emotion is going for. Even if you've got to put a mic in a bucket and get like that raw tube sound yourself, go for it. Because being true to how you feel is how you're gonna sound on tape. And if you don't believe it, no one else is gonna believe it when they hear you.
I took a lot from Dio's drummer, and I listened to a lot of Motley Crue, so Tommy Lee and Dawkins, so Mick Brown's one of those two. I was listening to a shitload of Alice in Chains at the time. That's literally what I told our producer. I was like, make my drums sound like Facelift.
You should listen to it. What are you doing? Come on now.
Go listen to it. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
Listen to it. You're not going to be disappointed, and if you are, you just have a shitty taste in music.
It's very therapeutic. And if you're going through a hard time, if you're feeling alone, if you feel like an outcast, or you just feel like you need something song-wise to feel seen, because a lot of the times it's hard to feel seen. Taking Back What's Mine is for you.
We really poured our souls into this. A lot of heart in this EP. It was a long endeavor. Nonetheless, it sounds really, really good, and we're all very, very proud of it. So when you listen to it, just listen to it with intention and a lot of soul.
I think that for all those who haven't heard this album yet, give it a chance. Listen to it with an open mind, an open heart, and just don't listen to it looking for something to relate to, but just let the experiences come to you. Sometimes we're not really expecting all the crap and all the bullshit to hit us, but when it does, we have to kind of fend for ourselves and prepare how we're gonna get through it. So when you're listening to the album and something relates to you, don't focus on how it's relating to you, but just focus on how it makes you feel. Focus on what it makes you think of, how it makes you go about your situations. And then when you're done, live life happy, live life better than ever.
With that being said, see you fuckers later.